ZanuPF Attorney General Virginia Mabiza says the Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 does not take away voters' right. Mabiza says a legal debate continues. Kusangana kwataita zvakare pana pachannel yenyu yeMakaba News patinobata nhau dzinenge dzichiitika munharaunda nemunyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Tingokurudzirana kuti kana pane vachangosvika ndiwo mukana wokubaya button rakanzi subscribe nekutena notification bell kuti patinoposta nhau idzi unova uri wekutanga kusangana nenews dzatinenge taisa. So today we are talking about nhau dziri kutenderedzwa dzichiziviswa munyika yedu yeZimbabwe apo pachinzi Virginia Mabiza vo responda vachiopoza affidavit rakanyorwa Movement for Democratic Change kana kuti MDC rinova raendeswa kuConstitutional Court vachichallengea kuti ZanuPF nehurumende yavaMnangagwa iri kutora marights eruzhinji rwenyika yeZimbabwe ekuvhota ichiisa mumaoko ayo. Zvaita kuti Virginia Mabiza auya achitaura achiti hatina marights atakatora, zvinhu zvese zvichiri panzvimbo yanga zviri. Asi veruzhinjiwo tichitaura nhau iyi tichibatanidza zvakare nemashoko ataurwa zvakare neanova lawyer ari kumirira kumaWar Veteran anova Asitole anova akataura achiti ZanuPF yakakanganisa section 328 yebumbiro remutemo. So ndo zvatiri kuona zviri kutaurwawo zvakare patsamba inova yeMDC. Asi attorney Virginia Mabiza anotaura iye achiti hapana marights akabviswa, hapana zvinhu zvakakanganiswa neConstitutional Amendment Bill number 3. Chikuru chavo ndechekuti number 3 yavo irambe ichingoenda mberi chete. So now we, according to news, Zimbabwe Constitutional Amendment Act number 3, commonly referred to as the Constitutional Amendment Act number 3, CAA3, continues to generate debate with the government defending the law, where critics and opposition figures question aspect of the constitutional changes. Attorney General Virginia Mabiza has now strongly rejected claim that CAA3 takes away Zimbabweans' right to vote. Mabiza made the position in an opposing affidavit filed in response to a Constitutional Court challenge brought by the Movement for Democratic Change. The MDC is challenging several provisions of CAA3, particularly issues relating to citizen voting rights and the election of the president. Mabiza filed the response on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa and Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Ziyambi Zihambi. Agreement is that the constitutional rights to vote remains protected and that CAA3 does not remove the rights. Mabiza says that like other rights protected by the Constitution, the right to vote is exercised within the frameworks of the Constitution and other relevant laws. Despite this, suggested that the amendment has dysfunctioned Zimbabwean voters. According to Mabiza, the relevant constitutional provisions has not been changed in a manner that removes citizen voting rights. She also added that the previous constitutional provisions did not create an absolute right to elect the president through popular suffrage without referring to the constitutional and other laws. Here, our position is therefore that Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 does not negate the right of citizens to participate in elections. The government argument comes against the background of a legal debate over the constitutional amendment. Bulawayo-based lawyer Ngobani Asitole has also commented on legal situations surrounding the amendment. Sitole, who previously represented Matabeleland pressure group Likazulu and coordinator Mbuso Fuzwayo, says he continues to believe that there were constitutional concerns regarding Section 328. Section 328 set out specific procedure that must be followed when Zimbabwe constitutional is amendment. However, Sitole has suggested that challenger amendment number 3 now could be a difficult legal undertaking because the amendment has already been enacted into law. He described the situation as effectively being a done deal or water under the bridge, while maintaining his view regarding the alleged going against of Section 328. Stolle has also said that taking Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 to court could be a tall order, and that from his perspective, the situation has become difficult to reverse. His comments added another dimension to the ongoing constitutional debate. Stolle has previously handled a number of high-profile public interest and political sensitivity matters. He represents Sengezo Shabangu in a case involving parliamentary cause, and also handled the Tawana Mucheiwa matter. He later filed a constitutional court case on behalf of Fuzgwayo and Likazulu, challenging a ruling party resolution linked to the proposed extension of President Emerson Mnangagwa term to 2030. That matter was granted direct access to the Constitutional Court, but Fuzgwayo later withdrew the case before it was handled. Meanwhile, Mabiza has raised a separate procedure argument against the MDC current Constitutional Court application. The Attorney General urges that the MDC's court papers continue to refer to Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 as a bill, despite the legislation having already been passed into law. According to Mabiza, there is no longer a bill before the court, but an act that has already gone through the legislative process. She therefore urged that the application and the relief being requested by the MDC are based on a description of legislation that no longer exists in the form. On that basis, Mabiza urged that the application should be strike off. The Attorney General has also rejected allegation that President Mnangagwa breached his constitutional responsibility when he assented to Constitutional Amendment Act number 3. She maintained that there was no failure but the President to uphold or exercise his constitutional duty in accordance with the law. This means the Constitutional Court dispute now continues several important questions. The MDC is challenging provision it I believe affect citizen political and electoral rights. The government through Mabiza is defending the legislation and insisting that the constitutional right to vote remains protected. At the same time, legal argument have emerged over the procedure following when the constitutional amendment were adopted, whether the legislation can be a successful challenge after become a law. So ndona wiri kutaurika ndona wiri kubuda Virginia Mabiza otaura chiti iye tikuda kutoita strike off nau imapepa akaendwa neMDC hapana marights ekuvhota evana veZimbabwe akakanganiswa ni Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 yanga imhori bhiri iko zvino into law. Ndizo nhau dzatanga tikabata munoti chii nemashoko ava Virginia Mabiza AG wenyika yeZimbabwe. Ndizo nhau dzatanga tikabata pano pachannel yenyu nokuigirai nhau dzinoitika ndiyo YouTube channel yeMagaba News.